You think she's yours because she says she loves you, because she cooks for you, laughs at your jokes, and posts your picture online with little hearts and glowing filters. You think she's yours because she once cried in your arms and whispered, "I could never lose you." But pause for a moment. Look closer. That feeling of certainty you hold onto, it's fragile. Here's the raw truth that most men don't want to hear. The truth that will sober you instantly. She's not yours. It's just your turn. And the moment you forget that, when you start convincing yourself that her body, her attention, her loyalty are possessions you own, you're standing on sand, not stone. Because one day, she will change. She'll drift. She'll stop laughing at the same jokes. She'll pull away without a reason you can understand. And when that happens, it will sting like betrayal. But it isn't betrayal, it's biology. If you don't grasp this brutal reality, you'll be crushed by something that was never guaranteed in the first place. In this video, I'm going to rip open the illusion and expose what few dare to speak out loud about female nature, about ownership, and about the masculine strength found in detachment. So, are you ready for the truth? Good, let's begin. First, she belongs to the moment, not the man. You believe she's yours because she sleeps in your bed, whispers your name, tags you in photos, and calls you her man. But let me give you a truth that stings now and saves you later. She does not belong to you. She belongs to the moment you represent. It's not your name, not your promises, not even your good heart that anchors her. It's the energy you bring right now. Because her loyalty isn't etched into stone, it's written in wet ink. Ink that smudges, fades, and sometimes vanishes overnight. Female desire doesn't operate on logic. It isn't chained to duty. It's tied to feeling, and feelings, by nature, are temporary. 1 week, you're her safe place. The next, you're a symbol of what she's outgrown. 1 month, she can't stop thinking about you. The next, you're just background noise in her DMs. Why? Because she was never yours. You were her current obsession, her emotional drug, her fantasy, until the feelings shifted. And here's where most men fall. They confuse intensity with permanence. They mistake passion for promise. They believe her moans mean forever. They think her tears mean devotion. They think her love today is a guarantee for tomorrow. But it isn't, because when the moment shifts, when you stop embodying the energy she craves, when your mystery fades, when the thrill turns into routine, she detaches. Not because she's cruel, not because she's evil, but because her very biology pushes her forward. It's her way of protecting herself from staying stagnant. She doesn't stay with the man who was good. She stays with the man who remains relevant to her emotional world now. That's the truth most men refuse to face. You're not competing with other men. You're competing with her constantly evolving desires. And that's why it feels like she changed. Because she did, the moment she met you. You matched her needs perfectly. You were aligned with her. But she's not the same woman anymore. She has grown, shifted, evolved, and if you haven't evolved with her, she's already gone, mentally first, then emotionally, then physically. All you're left holding is the fading memory of a woman who only existed for that version of you. That's why breakups cut so deeply. They feel like death itself. Because you're not just grieving her. You're grieving the man you used to be. The man she once desired. The man who once lit up her world. And that's the harsh, unspoken truth. You never owned her. You simply matched her energy for a time. And when that match broke, so did the bond. So what's the way forward? You stop trying to possess. You stop clinging. You stop needing forever. Instead, you become the moment. You embody the man who is always becoming, always growing, always moving. That way, her desire is forced to keep chasing you, rather than replacing you, because the second you believe she's yours, you've already lost her. By the way, there's something I probably shouldn't be giving away, but I will. It's a free ebook called The Female Mind Control Handbook. Inside are the forbidden psychological triggers that make women crave, obsess, and even chase you. It's raw, it's real, and it's exactly the kind of knowledge she'd never want you to have. Grab it now. Link in the description and pinned comment before it disappears. 2. She was never your only option. Just your favorite distraction. Let that sink in. You weren't her only choice. You were simply the most exciting option in that moment. And if that realization makes you uncomfortable, good, because the sooner you confront this truth, the sooner you'll stop living in delusion and start living in power. Here's what you must understand. Every woman, no matter how loyal she may appear, has options. Some are visible, others invisible. Some are direct, others waiting quietly in the background. She has orbiters, admirers, colleagues, exes lurking in the shadows. She has just friends who would risk it all for a single green light. And no matter how many times she tells you, "You're the only one I want," you need to remember something. She's saying that while you're exciting, when you're still in control of your energy, when you remain a challenge. But the moment you stop being that man, you begin to fade, and someone else quietly steps into focus. Because women don't switch interest like flipping a light on and off. No, it's more like a slow sunset, slipping away gradually, silently, strategically. At first, the changes feel small, almost invisible. She replies to your texts a little slower. Suddenly, she's busier than usual. Conversations that once felt alive now feel colder, shorter, emptier, and you can't quite explain why. Then come the words every man dreads. I need space. I need to focus on myself. I just don't feel connected right now. But here's the truth behind that curtain. She's already emotionally attached elsewhere. Maybe not physically yet, but in her heart and her mind. She's drifting. She's moving toward the next emotional high. Toward the guy who teases just enough to keep her guessing. The one who makes her feel like a mystery again. The man who isn't always available. Who makes her question her own value. That's the man who becomes her new favorite distraction. Because women don't chase logic. They chase emotion. And when the emotions fade with you, they ignite somewhere else. And you're left confused. Replaying every moment. Asking yourself what you did wrong. Wondering why you were replaced. Here's the truth. You didn't necessarily do anything wrong. You simply forgot one thing. She always had options. And you stopped being the best one. You got comfortable, predictable. You poured every ounce of your time, your energy, your presence into her, and left nothing for yourself. That kind of energy doesn't attract, it repels. It tells her, you're all I have. Without you, I am nothing. But the man who truly stays unforgettable is different. He becomes everything outside of her. He guards his time. He protects his mystery. He keeps his own universe intact. He never hands her the throne of his world. And that's exactly why, even when she's with someone else, she can't stop remembering him. So stop telling yourself you're her only choice. You never were. You were just a flame that burned brighter than the rest, until you stopped burning. And the moment your fire went out, she didn't hesitate. She simply turned toward the next spark. 3. If you think you own her, you'll destroy yourself. Possession. That's the illusion. She holds your hand. She sleeps in your bed. She calls you baby. She even introduces you to her parents, and suddenly, your mind begins whispering lies. She's mine. She'd never leave. I earned this. But you don't see it, and most men never do. That the very moment you believe she belongs to you is the moment you stop being the man she once desired. Why? Because possession breeds entitlement, and that sense of entitlement kills the very energy that created the attraction in the first place. When you think she'll always be yours, you stop sharpening yourself. You stop leading. You stop observing. You no longer listen. Instead, you begin to assume, to expect, to settle into comfort. And comfort, that's where masculinity dies. It's where polarity fades. It's where desire withers, making way for routine and boredom. But she doesn't want to be owned. She wants to be chosen. Again and again, by a man who never stops evolving. The moment you treat her like a prize you've already won, you stop being worthy of her. And the moment you stop winning her over every day, she starts searching elsewhere. And here's the darker side of the truth. When she leaves, you'll feel betrayed. You'll spiral. You'll rage and ache, because in your mind, she was yours. But in reality, she never was. She was only present for a period of time, a chapter, a season in your life. Sadly, instead of accepting that truth with composure, most men break down. They beg, they cling, they stalk, they threaten, they plead, and in doing so, they destroy the last fragments of masculine presence they had left. Because the more you cling, the more you bleed. And women, they don't chase blood. They chase power. Here's what you must remember. You cannot own a woman. The only thing you can do is invite her into your frame, and she will stay only as long as that frame remains strong. That's the harsh truth. If that frame collapses, if your values bend, if your confidence decays, she will leave. And if your entire identity was built on having her, you will collapse too. But if your identity is built on yourself, on purpose, on discipline, on growth, on truth, then her presence becomes a bonus, not a lifeline. And when she leaves, you won't break. You grow. You rebuild yourself. You move forward, calm, steady, unshaken. Because a man who lives with true stoicism understands, she was never mine. It was only my turn. And now, my time is better spent becoming greater than ever before. Not because he is bitter, but because he refuses to let himself be bound by illusion. The men who truly rise, the ones a woman can never forget, are not the ones who cling. Not the ones who fear loss. They are the ones who can say goodbye without a single flinch. And now, you see the truth. It was never about forever. It was only about alignment, about energy, about the version of yourself she once fell for, not the promise of you staying the same forever. She didn't change. She evolved, but you mistook time for truth. You tried to own her, while all she wanted was to feel. You gave her comfort, while she longed for fire. You tried to make her stay, while she had already walked halfway out the door. And now, you're left with two choices. Cling to the illusion, or become the man who will never need it again. Because once you learn to detach, once you embrace the truth that no woman is ever truly yours, you stop fearing loss. And when fear disappears, you become the one thing no woman can resist, a man she cannot control. If you've ever watched a woman fade away while you only held on tighter, leave a comment. She was never mine. Let's see how many men finally woke up today.